Hello everybody! Today we're going to be talking about short horror books that are still super scary, will get you out of a slump, and you can probably read in one sitting. All of the books that I'm going to mention today are less than 300 pages. In fact, most of them are around 200 pages. And as always, please check content warnings before diving into any of these books. Also, a little reading update from me. I know I've been quiet for a while. By the time this video goes out, it will be over a month, maybe almost 2 months since I've posted a video. I'm hoping that I'm back now and I can get back to posting again every couple of weeks. Life just got very busy, very stressful, and I did not have time to record or really feel the desire to record. But like I said, I'm back now. I have still been reading, not as much as I would have liked, but I have definitely still been reading. And one of the books that I'm going to mention in this video today is actually one that I read really recently and kind of inspired this video. Because with everything that's been going on, I just wanted a really quick and easy book to read, something to take my mind off things, and it did that perfectly. I hope you're all doing good while I've been away. I hope you're still here. Thank you if you are. And let's start talking about the books. So the first short horror book that we're going to be talking about today is Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. As I just mentioned, this is actually the book that inspired this video. This one is 208 pages, and I'd describe this as Ready or Not meets Saw. It's an eat the rich horror in which a fashion student is dating a very wealthy boy that she actually doesn't really like, but she's dating him for a purpose. His mother is the editor-in-chief of a very prestigious magazine that she doesn't think she could get a position at through traditional means, so she has come up with a plan to infiltrate this rich family. So she arrives at their enormous mansion on their private island, and she is witnessing for the first time how the 1% live. But once all the family members are on the island, things take a dark turn, because for decades the Ruskins have made their servants sign contracts that keep them trapped, and with nothing else to lose, they have decided their only route to freedom is to get rid of this family for good. As I mentioned at the start, this book definitely gave me some Saw kind of vibes, and I don't want to say too much, but it's very evident when you start reading it. There's not necessarily traps, if that's what you were after, but it is definitely savage, it's brutal, and it does have a little bit of that like cat and mouse like Ready or Not does. Then next up we have Mouth by Joshua Hull. Mouth is about Rusty, a man that is given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to inherit a secluded property from a complete stranger, but there is a catch. Rusty now finds himself the caretaker of a massive tooth-filled hole in the ground. This Mouth is hungry and needs feeding, and this job has now fallen to Rusty. And things only get more complicated when a nosy wannabe filmmaker stumbles upon them, and together they decide to investigate the history of this Mouth. This is written by a screenwriter, making his first debut into books, and it's honestly really good. There is a ton of horror references in it, and it also has a lot of heart. I wasn't expecting to become so attached to the characters in this book, including the Mouth itself. I don't know how a tooth-filled hole manages to be cute, but somehow this does. And you could easily read this book in one sitting. It is only 128 pages. Then we have potentially one of the best books that I've read so far this year, and that is Dark Matter by Michelle Paver. Set in 1937, the main character Jack is poor and desperate to change his life, so when he's offered the chance to join an Arctic expedition, he jumps at it. They're going to be camping in a remote uninhabited bay for a whole year, and as the polar night starts to claim the land, which is where there is just 24 hours of darkness all the time, Jack starts to get a bad feeling about their new home. One by one his companions start to leave, and he is faced with the decision of should he leave or should he go, but he will be staying out there all alone. But Jack isn't quite convinced that there isn't something else out there in the dark. I've said this before, but I don't think I've ever read a book in a setting like this before. It really truly makes this book so unique, and it's so interesting to read. I think Michelle Paver's other books are very similar. I think she's written one set in a jungle, but I really don't recall ever reading a book, especially a horror, set in the Arctic before. It's definitely more of a slow burn, and it's very atmospheric, but I think that is part of what makes it so interesting. I also talked about this in my scariest horror books recommended by you guys video, and this book definitely creeped me out. I don't think it scared me as much as some other books that I've read, but I can totally see why it is absolutely terrifying. Oh, and this one is 246 pages. We're about halfway through the books now. If you're enjoying this video so far, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Then we have I Found Puppets Living in My Apartment Walls by Ben Farthing. This is another super short one. It's 160 pages. This one is about Johnny. His grandpa was a puppeteer on a kids TV show who disappeared a year ago from his apartment building, which was converted from the studio for the TV show. Johnny has since moved into that apartment, and one morning he wakes up to a giant puppet looming over him, which then disappears into the walls of the flat. Thinking this puppet will lead him to his grandpa, he goes deeper and deeper and follows it into a puppet-infested labyrinth. This book is a standalone in Ben Farthing's I Found horror series. You can read them in any order, and I believe there's a ton of them, and I'm sad that I haven't read more of these books in this series since then, because I really enjoyed this one. Anything to do with creepy TV or creepy kids TV shows really fascinates me. These are super fun, fast-paced, very original ideas, and there's so many to choose from, so check out this one, but I will also be checking out some of his other work in this series very soon. Next up, we have William by Mason Coile. Henry is a brilliant but very reclusive engineer who has just created an artificially intelligent consciousness, which he names William. William is only half formed, and there's something very strange about him. He is starting to show an interest in Henry's wife, and Henry starts to realize that he is losing control of William, so he decides to destroy him. But William does not give up that easily. This couple live in a super high-tech house, and William begins to haunt it, and he is ready to get some revenge. William really surprised me with how gruesome this was. I was not expecting some of the kills to be as savage as they were. Also, it has a twist that really surprised me, and I love that. I don't often get shocked by plot twists, but I did not see this one coming, and it worked very, very well. I also like the aspect of William haunting this house, but not in the traditional sense, and him messing with all of the high-tech stuff in this house to do terrible things to these people. William is also around 224 pages. Also a good one if you liked the movie Megan, I feel like. Then, last but not least, we have The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica. This is 129 pages. It is set in a dystopian world that has been completely destroyed. Cities are underwater, there's no electricity or internet anymore, and only small bands of survivors remain. A woman in her cell in a mysterious coven that she calls home is writing the story of her life. She's a lower member of the sacred sisterhood known as an Unworthy, but she hopes of ascending the ranks and becoming one of the enlightened. Something that I think is really interesting about this book is that this sisterhood basically show their devotion through pain and suffering. So they experience these horrible things, but they are safe from the outside world. But then a new woman joins them, and suddenly she's forced to consider the truth of this coven and her past. From the very first page of this book, I was hooked. I think based on reviews that I've seen, it's quite polarizing. Some people love it like me, and some people hate it. I love religious horror, and this story is the perfect blend of intriguing and disturbing, with a actually very heartbreaking story to go along with it. So they are 6 short horror books, really fun and hopefully going to get you out of a slump. As it's been a while since I last posted, if you guys have any recommendations of videos that you want to see from me, if you have any recommendations of videos that you think that I should film, then please let me know down in the comments. Also, if you have read any of these books, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. Please subscribe if you would like more horror recommendations. I'm only a couple of hundred people off 2k subscribers, which is crazy to me, but I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. I'm so glad you're here and want to listen to me ramble about horror books. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!